Hello, this is speaking George. I'm happy that I'm here and I can interview today Jan from Yokupay. Jan and Yokupay, they are a very young team and they are very great and successful. And thank you, Jan. Happy that you have time.
Hi, thank you for having me, George.
Jan, tell me a little bit about Yokupay.
So, Yokupay is a crypto payment processor, especially for NFT marketplaces right now. It's basically a payment gateway for users to interact with smart contracts on other chains. What does other chains mean in this context? The user has an amount of cryptocurrencies, let's say Ethereum, and the user wants to interact with a NFT marketplace and a smart contract on another chain like Cardano. They cannot do so. If they wanted to, they would have to go to Binance and then exchange their Ethereum for Cardano and then interact with the contract. Yokupay is a crypto payment processor that is right at the NFT marketplace. So the user can simply pay through Yokupay, send the Ethereum to a smart contract of ours, and then we handle the interaction with the Cardano smart contract and get the NFT to the user. And that is what Yokupay is.
And what is the advantage for the customer when the NFT marketplace has your payment solution?
Well, the advantage for the customer is that it's a real hassle sometimes to buy NFTs, especially if you do not have the native currency of the NFT that you want to buy. For example, this also happened to me. You want to purchase an NFT in wrapped Ether, and then you exchange your Ether to wrapped Ether, and then once you've exchanged it, the NFT has already been sold, so you cannot even get this NFT anymore. And then you have to exchange your funds back, which basically costs money, time, and stresses you. Also, an advantage of Yokupay is the security. We have a Cardano stack in that example that I talked earlier, and we interact with that contract before we get the money from the user. The user sends the funds to a smart contract that locks the funds until the smart contracts gets through a Chainlink oracle that the Cardano NFT has arrived in their wallet. So it's very, very safe. If anything fails in the process, then the user will get their funds back, and there's no risk involved for all parties, except for us, but we are trusting in our system.
So you take the risk during the transaction process? Are you
Yes.
something like a custody?
Well, we carry the financial risk since we pay in advance with our funds. Of course, we also make sure that our system does not fail, for example, through the decentralization of Chainlink oracles. So we can really be sure that the smart contract that holds the funds of the user has authentic data if the purchased NFT is in the wallet of the user or not.
And how important is security for you? Is it possible to make a faked transaction? Is it possible to scam the users, or what are the threats you can see?
Well, it's not possible to scam the user. That's just in the smart contracts code, which will be public and audited, and there will be no way for us to scam anyone. Um, this is also our business model because we work together with decentralized apps that have a lot of transaction volume, and for example, we've received a letter of intent from JPEG Store, and we have had to design a system that is absolutely zero trust, where everything is going through smart contracts that are public as accessible on the blockchain. And through that, we have also just made the system as it is. An issue that would be is the exchange the exchange rate between different currencies. For example, user pays in Ethereum, but the NFT is in Cardano. There is a time window of, let's say, 20 minutes where we get the Ethereum, or we give the user a price that they have to pay, and then the NFT gets purchased by us. And there's a difference. And then we have to, in a later stage, but this has nothing to do with the user or the NFT marketplace, we, for us, have to exchange the Ethereum to Cardano, let's say. And if those exchange rates now differ, we may even lose money on that trade. And this is something we do not want to. So we have a collateral. The collateral is 2%. We have looked at historic data, how are the price fluctuations between crypto, and this 2% collateral will get refunded to the user after the transaction if it hasn't been used up. So this means if the exchange rates haven't changed that much in our disadvantage. So by that, we make sure that we do not go out of business, that we still make a profit, and everything runs smoothly in the long term.
Looks very secure, very safe, and the user data which are transferred, are they stored anywhere?
Well, on the blockchain. With every transaction, there's also a receipt NFT that gets minted that contains the purchase data. But the purchase data that is contained there is limited to wallet addresses, purchased NFTs, or let's say desired NFTs, and other data that is important for our smart contracts to understand. Other than that, we do not store any data from the user.
That's very good. That makes it really very transparent for the user so that he can trust you. And you spoke about JPEG Store, who will implement your solution. For which other platforms would your solution be interesting?
Well, our solution is basically interesting for all blockchains apart from the Ethereum, from the big Ethereum Goliath. Since what do we do in the end if we enable users to use services on other blockchains? We open up the gates for liquidity. This means that chains that do not contain as much liquidity as Ethereum can really profit from our solution, since now we give them the tool set to accept users from Ethereum. And this means Solana, Theta, Tezos. These are all chains or these are all chains where dApps can profit from Yokupay.
So that means for the end user, it makes the life very easy because he doesn't have to have 1,000 different cryptos in his wallet, and he just needs sufficient money in his wallet. He goes to JPEG Store, and there he can buy any NFT without having any Cardano in his wallet because you make the transaction for him.
Yeah, it relieves a lot of stress. Since now you can basically hold, let's say you're into Ethereum. You're in the NFT space, you're into Ethereum, and this is the case for most people that are into the NFT space. You can just hold your Ethereum, but you have the freedom, if those dApps have implemented something like Yokupay, you have the freedom to invest there and to diversify your portfolio. And you do not have to think of exchanging your funds all the time, since we are exchanging crypto. Yeah, that's our deal, and we are specialized to interact with the contracts of those dApps. And basically, you do not have to exchange anymore like in the middle of a transaction. You only have to exchange at the end of a transaction, and you do not even have to think about it. Also, an advantage of that, by basically exchanging your funds in the last second before interacting with the smart contract of the dApp, is that because we are a business, we take the shortest route of the money and the most easiest route. So basically, we look all the time, where can we exchange your funds to those funds for the least amount of money? And this also saves you a lot of searching. And then we put our 1% fee on there, which is not a lot. And then you can do pretty much everything, if, of course, the DApp has implemented Yokupay.
Jan, I'm sure that this is something the world is looking for to make the life easier for the people, for the user. And this is very important. And because you can see that the NFT space or the crypto space is still very complicated, but this makes it much easier for the user. So, Jan, I would like to come to my final question regarding compliance. How does it look like at Yokupay with compliance reports?
Yeah, compliance is very important for us. We try to make everything as secure as possible, as already mentioned. For example, our smart contracts are audited. We try to adhere to as much as possible to gold plate us with the regulatory needs that we face today. I think it's a very important step for crypto to get more adopted everywhere, and we try to make our part in there and to make the save more space everywhere. And we in the long run we try to get license in not only Europe but also in the US to offer two different compliance packages, basically for depending on where our partners are located in. And yeah, that's what compliance means for us.
You have really a strong roadmap. You have a lot to do with Yokupay, and it sounds for me it is really a very good solution, a solution which is needed at the market to make the life easier for the people. And Jan, I wish you all the best and your colleagues with Yokupay. Make the best for it, and if some other platforms would like to add, I'm sure they will contact you. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you very much, Georg.